We're on a trip to Sito Bamboo Forest. We're going by car this time with my father-in-law, and we have stopped here at the Guangxi service area, which is basically a rest area on the freeway. They do them on a grand scale, though. I'm gonna see if there's any food here. There is food. Whether or not there's food I'll eat, that's another story. Most of the restaurants weren't open yet, but I found a chicken leg, and Chuan got this stuff from the supermarket. Yes, supermarket in a rest area. There was also this lily pond, and no fewer than 60, and yes, I counted them, urinals. This is a heavily trafficked rest area. Do you know what the problem is traveling by car? Well, it's that in some cases nothing happens between stops. Here's our next stop, the next rest area. This one we're going to go get lunch at. The food court in this rest area was even more extensive, and I found this Japanese omurice shop, and I had this, a Japanese tonkatsu omurice, which is omurice is an omelet with rice in it, and then tonkatsu is a pork chop. All in all, a very satisfying lunch. You know, my food was good, but if there's a Subway here, I'm going to be very, very upset. And there's a most delicious fried chicken. Something's wrong here. Indeed, there was an upper level with another food court, including a Subway. But I'm not going to show you that. Instead, this is the expansive view from the rest area. And then we were back on the road and heading up into the mountains. And then we arrived at our hotel. We've arrived at the hotel. It's not where I thought we were going. It's in the same area, but it's not the really awesome place that I thought we were going to, which was like little cabins and a forested wood and little flowers and pine trees and very restful and nice, and exactly the kind of thing I think of when I think of a restful vacation. However, we're in a great big tall modern multi-story building next to the highway, and lots of businesses and people, which is not what I ever think of when I think of a restful vacation. So I'm a little disappointed, I have to say, but it is a very nice hotel, and that's something. It's got lots of activities, making cookies, afternoon tea, and it's got this, a Japanese toilet seat and its own in-room Wi-Fi router. The hotel also has its own game room with an earthquake simulator. I spent the afternoon working on yesterday's episode of Tedium Unlimited, doing the narration and editing. Later in the day, at a different branch of Din Tai Fung, we managed to get, finally, some good footage of the dumpling makers in action. This chap on the right is flattening out the skins. He then tosses them to the guy in the middle, who puts in just the precise amount of pork slurry, who hands them over to the chap on the left, who's putting in exactly 18 folds as he closes each of those dumplings, because that's what makes the flavor, the folds. It's just about dinner time, and it's been raining all afternoon, and the fog has settled in on the nearby mountains, although it's not right on us, or at least not now. And then the fun ended for the day, because in hotels like this, you eat what they serve you, and what they serve you was not edible to me. There was boiled wood soup, fungus, boiled lettuce, pork fat on the bone, sea stuff that should be put back in the sea, green stuff, but at least there was watermelon. I ate rice mostly. Finally, there was ice cream. Milk-flavored ice cream. Here's what I'm going to have to explain. Later on, one of the activities the hotel had planned was making cookies. This is a room full of people who've never made cookies. You do have to understand that baking is not traditionally a Chinese way of cooking. A show of hands in the room, apart from us, only 2 people had made cookies in their lives. Incidentally, chopsticks are not the right implement for making cookie dough. After that, they had painting of pottery and masks. Well, I don't even know where we are, in a way. There is no way that what I'm about to say is going to come off as anything other than just me griping. And I can't help it because I am griping. So, here's the deal. Before we left for Taiwan, and I would have told you this on one of the earlier Tedium Unlimiteds, we had 2 trips to the mountains planned. So my wife kept pestering me, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? What places do you want to go see? Because we have basically been everywhere, or nearly everywhere of interest, sightseeing-wise in Taiwan over the last, 16 years. So we picked a couple places that we knew. The first was the Qingjing Farm, which was the sheep farm, and that was just kind of an interesting place. It was very nice, beautiful scenery, and we thought, well, that's one. And then the other one was here, the Shito Bamboo Forest, and I absolutely loved coming here the first time. We were in this admittedly kind of old and run-down hotel that had a lot of cabins. And I hope that sound is just rain falling off trees and not something stealthily coming through the grass over there. Anyway, I loved the place. The hotel had cabins, and you pulled up to them, and it was in this beautiful flat meadow, and there were pine trees all around, and flowers and grassy meadows, and it was just so beautiful and peaceful, and I loved it. And it had something else going for it, and I said I would explain it, and I guess I'll explain it now. It had a Family Mart. I think I improperly attributed it to 7-Eleven earlier, but Family Mart is basically 7-Eleven. And the reason that's important is because when you get out into the woods like this, or actually not just in the woods, but in particular in the woods, the hotels frequently include breakfast and dinner with the room cost. And I'll make no apologies for this, I can't eat the food. It's not food I can eat. It's cooked vegetables and bits of sea animals and I can't. Or boiled wood. I mean, for crying out loud, they eat bamboo shoot soup. It's boiled wood. Have you ever tasted it? It tastes like somebody stuck a 2x4 in water. I don't understand it, and I can't do it. And so the Family Mart keeps me alive, because I can go over there and I can buy something to drink, and I can get some ramen soup, or even have some prepackaged foods, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. It was the best place we've ever stayed. I loved it. And so, where do you want to go? That's where I want to go. That's where we're not. We are 30-minute walk from there. Oh yeah, that's rain. I probably should start thinking about heading back to the hotel. We're a 30-minute walk from that hotel. My father-in-law decided that He thought it was too moldy, and so he's booked us into this fancy hotel that's got no Family Mart anywhere near it, 30-minute walk, and we've just had a meal, which, as I've already probably shown you, I didn't eat, and I'm hungry, and they include breakfast, and I'm gonna be hungry, and I get grumpy when I'm hungry, so this is not good. And they do at least have some ramen soup. We're just trying to figure out how to purchase it without doing it in front of my father-in-law, who has done this because he, trying to get us a better hotel experience and missing the actual hotel experience that I wanted. And unfortunately, his idea of what appeals to me and mine aren't the same, and we thought it was clearly conveyed that we wanted to go there, not near there, not somewhere else like there, that place. But we didn't.